Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Citizens remarks, we have Denny Powers signed up.
I just signed in just because sometimes I do want to ask a question later in the meeting, and I think I should be able to. And when I've asked it, sometimes without signing in, I've been told I couldn't talk because I didn't sign in.
Well, actually, the sign-in's to give you time to speak for 5 minutes, and that's
I
all.
understand, but when other times when I've interjected it later in the meeting and asked a question, I was told I couldn't speak because I didn't sign in. That happened. It's on camera.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not on
Well,
camera,
that's the only reason I
but-
said, because really,
but this
I don't even need to sign in. I should, I'm a media channel now, I've been recording this for 2 years. I'm just like Gene, I'm another reporter. So if I have a question during the meeting, I think I'll be polite, I'll just put my hand up and ask.
Jean didn't.
Well, she just shouts it out then, I'll just shout it out then. She asks questions if she has a question in the middle of something, so do I. Because, you know, we're both reporters, that's what we do, it's my job.
Okay, as long as you're just asking questions and not trying.
That's all I have to do.
Okay.
Have I ever done anything else?
Mm,
Okay, thank you.
That's all you know?
That's all I had, thanks.
Okay, did everybody get a chance to read the minutes from the last meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as read.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Okay, we have Randy Crane here from the Mineral County Chamber of Commerce. He's our guest speaker for the evening.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate you giving me just a few minutes to talk to you tonight. And first, I want to say how sorry I am to hear about all the things going on with the slide, and it's awful. So, our prayers are with you, and if there's anything we can do, I would be happy to hear what I can do to help. But tonight I came to talk about something that we're trying to propose all across the county. And I wanted to let you all be aware of it, what we're doing. We think one of the biggest problems in the whole region is the drug problem. And it's horrible. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But we were trying to figure out, well, what can we do? Is there something that we can do in the county? And because I feel like we're losing a whole generation of people, and that's sad to see. In fact, I wrote down just a couple of, I promise I won't kill you with statistics, but I read a couple of things that just kind of blew me away. So in 1980, the number of opioid deaths in the United States, the whole United States, was 3 per every 100,000 people. And in West Virginia, that same year, it was only 2. So we were actually ahead of the nation. But if you fast forward to 2017, in the United States, that number jumped up to 13. And West Virginia, sad to say, leads the nation, and we are at 41 deaths per 100,000, which is more than triple the U.S. Rate. So, and in West Virginia, it's gone up. The fatalities from overdoses have gone up 62% in the past 4 years. Well, that was ending in 2017. That's the last year that we have, a full year's worth of statistics. But a better way to put it in perspective was the total number of U.S. soldiers that were killed in the Vietnam War from start to end. The entire war was 58,220. And in 2017 in the United States, just 2017 alone, there were 70,237 deaths. And for those of you who watched the Super Bowl a couple of weeks ago, whenever that was, that's almost exactly the capacity of that stadium. I just happened to look that up. And, it's heartbreaking. So, and we know it's really bad in West Virginia. So what can we do? Well, in October, a number of us were lucky enough. We went to a drug abuse town hall in Kaiser. I don't know if anybody in the room was there. You were there for that. Great. And there were 3 speakers that night. There was the deputy chief sheriff town.
Anderson?
I believe so.
Yeah.
So, and he was good. He gave the law enforcement perspective. And then we heard from Lucky Arnold, who was a recovering addict, and now he's kind of back on the right path, and that was encouraging. And then the 3rd speaker that night, and frankly, I'm ashamed to admit this, I really wasn't looking forward to his remarks because he was a statistician from WVU, and I thought, well, what's he going to add to this? But boy, was I wrong, because I think he was amazing, and we in the Chamber of Commerce latched on to him. He's originally from Iceland, and he talked about how Iceland had a problem with their youth back in 1990, where this kind of blew me away. 55% of their 13-year-olds had self-reported as having been drunk. So they clearly recognized that they had a big problem, and they really did one thing to fix it, just one thing. And it was simply to create a whole bunch of activities for kids to be involved with that were supervised by adults, which would limit their time where they're not doing anything and when adults weren't around. And if you think back to your own youth, for you guys that may be a little longer than for some of the rest of us, but you know, when kids get into trouble, it's when 2 things happen: when adults aren't around and when there's peer pressure. And we can all remember, here, try this, whatever this is. It could be a cigarette, it could be alcohol, it could be drugs, or it could be a whole bunch of things. So by having all these activities scheduled, you know, if we're able to pull this off, we feel like the kids are going to have so many things to do that they're not going to have time to get into trouble. And then if it works, Dr. Christensen has agreed to track the statistics for us, so we'll know what's working and where it's working, and hopefully if there's anything that's not working, we can address that and fix it. So, so we're going to try the same approach in Mineral County. And one of the things I'm going to get is some funding to provide for a full-time activities coordinator who will help organize all these things around the county. And it's not going to be, we're not going to send kids from Carpendale, for example, to Kaiser to do activities. We want these to be as close to home as possible. That's their, you know, kids grow up in a certain area, we feel like that's where things should be. We don't want to bust them all over the county. And so the same thing for Piedmont. We want to try and have as many things in this area as possible. And recognizing that you don't have all the things that, for example, Kaiser might have, but at least they're relatively close by, so if they are going to travel, it wouldn't be far. We're going to also try and get transportation figured out and a lot of volunteers. And we're going to, sad to say you have to do this in this day and age, but we're going to screen the volunteers because, you know, the last thing we want is something bad to happen that would ruin the whole program. So we're well aware of that. So this is a lengthy thing. It's going to take a lot of moving parts to get this all to work. But I wanted to let you know that we're looking at this and hoping to put this in place, and we would love support from every community. We're going to need volunteers to watch the kids, and we're not going to do a lot of like education, wagging our fingers saying, you know, stay off of drugs. Kids hear that, they know that. We don't have to say it over and over and over. The idea is just simply to give them a good time with adult supervision, and that what's the worst that can happen? If we don't reduce our drug statistics, at the very least, kids are going to have a good time. But I think we will. I think that based on what Dr. Christensen said happened in Iceland. So they went from 55% in 1990. I didn't tell you this part. They're down to 4% in 2017.
Just by doing that?
Just by doing that. That's all they did. And I thought, wow, now it's still 4% too high, but from 55, I think we would all take that, you know? So that's what I'm hopeful for. If it doesn't work, I could be laughed out of the county, and I'm willing to take that risk, but, and I'm sure a lot of people are having fun with this behind my back, and I'm okay, because I feel like we should do something. If we don't do it, who's gonna?
Yeah.
You know, so that's where I'm coming from, and wanted to just at least let you know that that's sort of coming down the pike, and hopefully maybe you can help funnel. If people are interested in this, we're going to need lots of help. So, and all of it's going to be volunteer. So, other than the one coordinator. So, just wanted to let you know that. Oh, there's also something that we're pursuing that has nothing to do with the drug problem, and you may have read about it. It kind of hit the papers before we wanted to, but we're looking at developing a resort up at Jennings Randolph Lake. And the reason for that is we looked at, there's a couple problems in Mineral County. Obviously there's jobs, there's also no tourism. I mean, we have a couple of small venues, Ashby's Fort over in Fort Ashby and the Stone House, but the rest of them are, there's not much going on. They're not open very often. I mean, Stewart's Tavern is open 2 days a year. Stonehouse is only open a few times a year, really. So we really need to work on that. So we don't want to. There's rumors already of people have been calling me. Oh, it's going to be like Deep Creek Lake, and there will be houses all the way around the lake. No. We're not doing that. In fact, we want to keep it exactly the way it is. It's beautiful. We're looking at putting a lodge up there, like a hotel, that people could come and enjoy exactly what's there now. We don't want to put up a theme park or anything, or any other rumors that you hear. I don't know, but so there's 1,000 steps, and we're on step 6, I think. So there's a long way to go on that, and there's a public hearing next week about Jennings Randolph, so we're going to go to that and talk with the Army Corps of Engineers and see if we can get their buy-in on that, and then if they do, then we can pursue that further and start looking for a developer, or, you know, because we want to do this with private money. I don't think the state has, there's no way that they're going to be able to pony up for something like that. But if we're successful, we might get Route 46 redone, and that would be a plus, because I don't have to tell you what kind of shape that's in. So just wanted to at least let you know what we're looking at and trying to do. And if you have any questions, or if you have people that are interested in any of this stuff, please have them give me a call at the chamber. And
instead of putting a resort in, wouldn't you want to more do like a cottage type thing for fishermen and do the promote the fishing, because the fishing up there is fantastic.
fishing is great.
Okay, other than that, you know, I mean, the boating and everything up there, but you'll be taking the beach away from the people around this area that really like the beach by putting the resort in up there.
Well, we don't think so. We think that, just like at Rocky Gap, that could be taking the beach away by putting the resort there. In fact, there's really not much more traffic at the beach than before they were there. And I used to work at Rocky Gap, so I paid a lot of attention to that. We think that we could develop some trails. There's some that are already there. We'd like to expand them, and they would also be great for cross-country skiing in the wintertime. We definitely want to play on the nature aspect of what's there. We don't want to change or take away from that at all. So They did a similar project in West Virginia at Stonewall Jackson, and that has turned out to be a really big success. And it also, I mean, if we put a resort up there, the number of, the tax dollars and the jobs alone could be amazing. So we're, and actually, communities like Piedmont and Elk Garden are on either side of that. And we think that a lot of jobs could potentially be generated for people. And if we don't do something like that, what's Elk Garden gonna do? I mean, they're gonna, coal is not the long-term answer for them anymore. So, anyway, just something that we're trying to do, and we're open to all sorts of suggestions and ideas, and again, we are so far from the end, we're just at the beginning of this, so, and we have no preconceptions. I mean, we have some ideas, but we're absolutely open to suggestions, so, and we think that there will be lots of spin-off businesses that will, you know, maybe somebody puts in a restaurant nearby, maybe somebody puts in maybe sporting clays, or who knows, it could be trail rides for ATVs or something nearby, or, and, you know, if something like that exists, I think it'll attract a lot of other sort of feeder businesses. So, anyway, we're gonna give it a shot.
Everything's changed.
It is. So, but thank you. I appreciate you letting me.
Well, I actually thought you was on the agenda for announcing the meeting, is that you? That's what I thought you was on the agenda.
Oh! Yeah, how about that?
Okay.
Well, yeah, there's an embezzlement seminar coming up that's sponsored by the West Virginia Extension Service, and that's going to be on Wednesday, February 27th, from 6:30 to 8:30 at the Davis Center at Potomac State. So, and actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. It slipped my mind for tonight, but small towns, when you have somebody that embezzles money, that can just completely derail a town or an organization. I know over in Short Gap, the fire company a few years back had someone was embezzling money, and it got taken care of, but the story got out that that had happened, and as it should have, but the problem is that everybody stopped giving money to that fire department, and they almost went under. So it can happen anywhere to anybody, and I fully support this. I didn't, it's not the Chamber's program, but we fully support it because we think it's a, you know, everybody needs to kind of know how to guard against that from happening, because it can really destroy, you know, organizations, or it's happened to city and town governments, and it's happened everywhere, to businesses, to service organizations, and it's awful when it happens. So if there's any way to help prevent something like that, I think we should, you know, go see what they have to say. And it's free, so it's a free event, and so that's coming up.
We have a meeting that night. I just took that thing.
Oh.
That is our meeting.
Yeah.
No, you know what, actually, I was supposed to bring that up too. Ben cannot be here on the 27th, so we were actually going to try to change the meeting night.
Okay, all right.
So we'll have
Sounds
to
good.
discuss that in a little bit.
All
I
right.
have a little note wrote somewhere about that, and
Okay.
I kind of lost my note.
Good, that might work out then.
Yeah.
It might have been that, I should have circled it on there, that it was the same night as that, and Ben couldn't be here anyway, so
Yeah,
he doesn't want to miss another meeting, so he was
Yeah.
wondering if we could change meeting nights,
awesome.
so.
Well, if for some reason you can't attend, I would be glad to gather information from that and share it with you all.
I'd like to know about it.
Yeah,
Great.
Thanks, Nate.
Okay.
all right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, like I said, Ben's not here tonight because he's meeting with, I don't know if a lot of you know it or not, but we had a slide over the weekend on the east side of town, and Ben's meeting with the contractors. Can you fill us in on that situation, Ernie?
Ben's meeting with, belt contractors and also a little bit more with the geological engineer that was in, trying to see what additional fundings might be involved in this stabilization of that bank, plus repair the sewer line and the rest of Rat Tail, which is sliding away. And it's a bloody mess down there, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I know, but Ben and Susie went, what, Thursday? Down to get funding for the Pearl Street thing, and then this happened on top of it, so. Since it busted our sewer line, we are getting emergency contingency monies, but
From the governor's.
what's that gonna do about
That's
Pearl
what
Street
we're
problem?
worried about.
They might give us money for that and not give us money for Pearl Street, which is
Either
another
way,
big
they're gonna
problem.
do something, because,
Until it becomes an emergency, which won't take long.
well, it's already that, because we understand, I don't think the fire department wants to take the trucks down.
I wouldn't.
And I don't think the ambulance does either. And I don't know if that happened the other night when they took
That gentleman out.
George out or not. Because the rescue squad was on Hampshire Street and they had to go down to his trailer. So I don't know if that was the reason why. I haven't talked to anybody, but yeah, that road's going. I mean, and I give it another couple of years and
I wouldn't say
I don't
another
know about
couple of
that.
years, I'd
we
say
put
months
everything,
to a
we
month.
put everything in it.
Yeah, if it keeps
that we
raining
had.
like this.
We put roughly about 40 tons of millions in gravel that we have had left up the plant. We have nothing left to do. We have nothing more. I mean, we can't do anything. The state has to do, they have to. There's just no way around it. I mean, I don't know any other way to fix it. I mean, I don't.
Well, no,
It's-
Ben and I took that geotech engineer down through there, and Ben and I even noticed some new cracks forming that we didn't notice before. And it's just getting worse, and it just keeps coming up the road from the original start. And there's parts of the road, Susie probably noticed when she goes in and out, there's a section where the asphalt, that much asphalt, maybe about 4 foot long, it's dropped away, it's down about that far now.
Like I said, we can't do anything with the runoff. I mean, it's natural runoff up there. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, and this year with the rainfall alone is just, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. I can't even fix my problem until this weather stops, so I can get into it, be able to get dirt instead of mud. And that's what we're at right here. I mean, it's nothing but mud. I mean.
That's the problem the contractor's having now, they were only able to get 2 joints of pipe in. And we notice right now, in between where they're pumping out of one manhole to another to keep this from going out down on the railroad, we counted 3 springs running about an inch in diameter, big, straight bore,
I know
just running. And it's turning the clay that they're digging down to now into a sloppy soup.
I've been in this town for 32 years now, and I got out of service, and I've never seen this much water around my house. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And it's right in the course of where that's all at down there at George's. I mean, where I live at, that water just straight through there. And like I said, when we had that drought.
Is that where
here-
the slide is too, in that area?
Yep, right there in the same area between Bill, Katie, and myself. The way that channel, there's like 3 natural springs that I know of up behind my house on the one side. Now, I don't know how many there is now because the water has shifted this year and it's just, I can't walk out through the yard. I mean, I got this much water and I've never had that since I moved here.
Oh, so that's like that in Kaiser too, cause I
It's-
get down at my
it's
aunt's all
hard.
the time.
Now, I
Right
don't
there
know.
coming into Kaiser, that water's
Yeah.
across
I
the
don't know if
road.
that's part of the mine sinks that's going on that may have not got hooked up, you know, the drainage, I don't know. I know this much this year, wow, it's really gotten bad this year with water. So,
So Anybody have any correspondence?
Oh,
No? What can I do for you, Ed?
it's too late to put a bid in on that Jeep.
We haven't got to it yet.
You don't have something to write on, do you?
I'll get safe for
I'm not, I didn't see the ad. I don't know. I thought it was supposed to.
I didn't see the ad either. Anybody have a copy of the ad?
I didn't see it either. I never saw it, I just talked to Ben.
Well, I'll tell you what we can do is take the bid and check on it and get back with you, Ed. I mean,
Alright.
Whether it's valid or not valid.
right. I mean, that's about all, honestly, I don't have anything on the state at the time or anything else,
Yeah,
so.
I thought it was by 4 o'clock.
That's what I thought too, but
And then
I'm not gonna put my hand on the Bible, I swear to it, so. But we can take the bid and if there's a problem with it, if there's a
Yeah,
problem.
put your
on it,
phone number on there with it.
Yeah, one of us will get a hold of you, let you know.
Alright. I don't even know what year it is,
What is that, G?
It's a 97.
Okay,
97?
Yes, sir.
yeah. Yep, and if you need any information, one of these gentlemen right there can help you with it, Ed.
Yeah.
They are well aware of it.
All right, officers report. Dawn?
Well, Tim's back at work, he started back Monday on light duty. And hopefully soon we'll have our,
bulk storage.
bulk storage, yeah.
It's the weather.
Hooked up. Other than that, nothing else.
You're forgetting about the call I got from Tim today while we were meeting here with the geoengineer.
I can't remember, tell me.
Tim said the water stopped flowing to the plant.
The water stopped flowing.
It stopped flowing. He made calls to the mill. Everything on their end's working fine. There's no leaks in the line, and the only thing Tim and I discussed that could be is there's a manhole up here on that 10-inch line. It's got a screen in it. And it's either the screen or the flow meter that could be plugged up. They had a situation where their screens got clogged up with a lot of debris up there, and some of it could have gotten through. So tomorrow, before we start fixing the leak down on Pleasant Street, we're gonna be up there and put the skinniest guy down in the manhole.
Okay.
See my brain looks
Wait
like.
a minute, I get claustrophobic.
I said skinniest man, not chubby.
Hey, Rick, you got anything?
No, I do have to take too long, so.
Alright, well, thank you.
Just that we've been pretty busy.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Not yet.
I thank these fellas, I really do, I thank these fellas for keeping the roads the way they've been. Good job. We're back to full scale now, so.
Full
We
scale?
don't have anything, Ernie, do you have anything, Tom?
The only thing I got to add to that is we had to replace another CV joint on the salt truck. Ben had me to order one from Timbrook Chevrolet. This one is a lot better built, it's heavier duty. And he had me order another one because the driver's side one sounded like it popped. We also replaced the tire on the back of the salt truck. We had a flat tire. And of course, we're still, all of us are hoping that the contractor gets the sewer line back together. That's all I got for now.
Susie?
I know.
And I was here with Ben yesterday when he told Officer Perry that he wants him to start ticketing vehicles up on the hill that's on a yellow line because it's taken away from the guys plowing
Oh, yeah.
because they're parked on the yellow lines.
We also got cars parked in snow emergency route.
And yeah, cars need to be taken out of the emergency route and not parked on a yellow line or they will be ticketed,
And we've
especially during,
got
it should be
one,
done all the time, but especially during this kind of weather.
we've got one section where there's gonna be a no parking at any time sign put up. Family that's parking there or parking their vehicles right across from one steep hill that we gotta come down. Car parked here, and we cannot turn out that way.
And they
Safely.
complain if it don't get plowed, and if you hit it, they complain and want the town to pay for
Yeah,
it, when they shouldn't be parking there.
That's why I won't drive the dump truck.
Yeah, we don't need you driving the dump truck.
he hasn't been, I've been driving.
Okay.
I'll drive the little.
All right, police report.
Let's see, right now everything's still on track, nothing major to report. I did finish up my firearms instructor class, so I'll be sending that down to Charleston for my in-service. What else do we have? That's really about it right now.
And we have a dog in the office, that's about it.
Yeah, so.
Unfinished business, the cross-connection backflow control ordinance, the second reading. Is there a copy of that to read?
Your Ben's folder?
Yeah, I don't have them. Put it in there. Oh, there's correspondence in there too I didn't get to. Does this whole thing have to be read?
Then they read the first one. Just highlight on it.
It would be the A, B, and C. A, the cross-connection and backflow control ordinance for the city of Piedmont. Purpose, to protect the public potable water supply served by the city of Piedmont Waterworks from the possibility of contamination or pollution by isolating within its customers' internal distribution system such contaminants or pollutants which could backflow or back siphon into the public water system. To promote the elimination or control of existing cross connections, actual or potential, between its customers and plant potable water systems. And to provide for the maintenance of a continuing program of cross-connection control which will effectively prevent the contamination or pollution of all potable water systems by cross-connection.
Make a motion to accept the second reading of the cross-connection backflow control ordinance.
I second it. All in favor? Opposed? Here on the there's gonna be the 7th annual coding and corrosion exposition, April 3rd, from 8 o'clock to 2:30. Where's this at? In Western West Virginia, at the FTI Training Center. It's free to the public. It's geared toward contractors, painting, coating, and suppliers, chemical and power plant operators, technicians, and workers in the pipeline, bridge, tank, and refining industries. Registered newsletter at wvcacn.org. And that again is April 3rd, 2019, from 8 to 2:30. Okay, the city cell phones.
Everything will be finalized on that next week. We had to get some papers printed and some signatures before we could switch over to prepaid.
But it will be finalized,
Yeah, we just have to take the papers down.
and everybody will have the phone. Okay. New business, discuss setting up housing inspection program and contracting with certified inspectors.
I am still waiting on some information to come in for that, so I can give you a better report, put it back on the agenda.
Table for the next meeting. Okay, anybody have anything else? The next meeting, well,
Oh.
Mayor can't be here for the next meeting, and if anybody wants to go to this meeting, we'd like to change the meeting for the next, instead of Wednesday, February 27th. Does anybody have another available date, like the Tuesday or the Thursday of that week?
Any time's good for you. How's your schedule?
I'm busy.
The 26th or the 28th? Any time better for anybody?
How's your appointments good? Tuesday?
Tuesday?
Sounds good.
Okay, the next meeting will be Tuesday, February 26th, 6 o'clock. I'll put 2019. Okay. All right,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
okay.
Second it.
I'm getting right, tired of writing through this. All in favor? Opposed? All right, this meeting's adjourned.